for the opportunity. And for the first time in Kenya, you can see the boy child is endangered. When we are looking at the ratios, I think this set has made so I'm feeling endangered, but I'll face the turbulence head on. Now, as we celebrate 62 years of independence, there are many questions which come to mind. The first question is when we attained our independence, the founding fathers said they were going to fight illiteracy, that they wanted people to be literate. Maybe we need to ask ourselves that question, whether we've made very good progress. And another thing they wanted to fight was issues around healthcare. We need to now start asking those questions that when we attained independence, all the things the founding fathers wanted to achieve or to fight, how much progress have we made? And in maybe that would be a critical question. Then the second question is, every single day when we wake up, we are told that when we got independence, we were in the same, I mean, to use the Gen Z language, we were in the same WhatsApp group with South Korea, Singapore, and these other countries. How come they left this WhatsApp group to another WhatsApp group, a better one, and we seem to have been left lagging behind? And the third one would be, what is our national identity as a nation? And when you're talking about our national identity as a nation, then it leads to the theme for this week. For instance, when you mention Estonia to people who have placed a huge premium on international issues, international relations, what immediately comes to mind is issues around ICT, issues around e-commerce, because Estonia scores very big in those issues. If you mention a country called Germany, what comes to mind is engineering and technology. That are, in fact, in the last couple of years, if you want to buy a very solid car, then it has to be a German machine. If you mention a country like, say, Japan, what comes to mind? They're effective and they're efficient. Now, if you mention Kenya, in most parts of the world, what comes to mind is people who run in the Olympics and win medals. But how does that translate to Kenya's unique selling proposition at the international level? How does it translate to issues of tourism and to issues of mice? And that's the reason now we must make the connection to meritocracy. There is evidence to suggest that if you place a premium on meritocratic leadership, and there are two levels. One is a democratic meritocracy, that when you're going to elect people to public office, you ensure that you elect your sharpest tools in the shed for public office. Now, in Kenya, probably we don't elect our sharpest tools in the shade to public office, and that is where we have challenges. And I can even challenge you, whether you can actually name, depending on which county you come from, whether you can name 5 MCAs from your county, whether you can name 5 members of the National Assembly that when they speak at a local and an international fora, you sit back and say, wow. Whether you can name 5 senators, whether you can name 5 cabinet secretaries, whether you can name 5 principal secretaries, that when they're at an international fora, when they speak wherever you are, you sit back and you say, wow, I'm impressed. And then the other one is the non-democratic meritocracy. For instance, when you look at the Kenya's public service, would you actually say that it's full of meritocratic leaders? Now, there are some institutions which score very high points. Like, for instance, when you talk about KDF, when they're recruiting, especially for the cadet positions, they ensure they get the sharpest tool in the shed. But some of the appointments to parastatal heads, parastatal directors, you sit back, someone has been appointed to a role, he may have capacity, he may even have competence, but they're not suitable for the role. So in my view, those are the things we need to ask. And finally, and this issue really relates to the theme for the week, we've got an infrastructure next to Embakasi, understand it's referred to as JKI, but it's dilapidated. I mean, when you travel abroad and you come back, you come to that airport, you begin to wonder, where are you? Now, Kenyans, we've been we've taken a deep nap. We've been in slumber. There's a country called Rwanda, which is coming up with an amazing international airport.
Right.
That airport is going to be very key for cargo and passenger. If we are not very careful with our dilapidated JKIA, which is supposed to be the home of regional aviation. We are supposed to be an aviation hub in the region. But how can you be an aviation hub in the region when you've got a facility that doesn't even have bathrooms? You know, some tourists, they land, they want to use the bathrooms, they don't know where the bathrooms are. I mean, the place is just horrible. And when the administration wants to create public-private sector partnerships to take it to the next level. People stop deals, and we also need to ask ourselves that the issue of public participation, does it actually serve public interest? Does it serve national interest? Or is it used by special interest groups to frustrate projects? Because there's no way you are going to tell people that you want Nairobi to be the aviation hub if the international airport in Nairobi is not an international airport. Now, in Kisumu, you've got another facility, understand it's an international airport. But of what use is it to people in that part of the world if it cannot be used for cargo? You may be surprised to learn that Lake Victoria is said to have some of the best fish in the world. That a British housewife would kill to get the fish from Lake Victoria. But how come people around the lake do not harvest fish and then transport it to the UK or the European Union? We have got evidence in Kenya that it's possible to engage in just-in-time production where you get products from Kenya. I mean, there's a company I think I recall called Homegrown, where people harvest all manner of fruits, vegetables, packaged nicely. And as we have this conversation in the morning, the products are landing in UK supermarkets, European Union supermarkets. How come we don't do the same for the fish from around the lake? Unfortunately, the airport in Kisumu used for passenger business. And everybody knows passenger business, while it's a nice deal or a flown, I was on KQ, I was on a certain plane, but how does it translate to monetary gains for people? In my view, those are the questions we must ask. So that even when you're having these bombers, now the new project coming up at bombers, does it actually play in the international league, or again it's going to play in the normal league?
And of course, we'll be getting deeper into the Bomas revamping, just to see how it will position us as a MICE destination in the region.